Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wolf Pit. Eggs. They're delicious, they're nutritious, and they're very versatile. But most of all, eggs are also very inexpensive. Especially if you have your own chickens.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Which makes eggs an ideal protein to feed a crowd on a budget, like for picnics, potlucks, and holiday dinners and other get-togethers. There's all sorts of things you can make for a crowd with eggs, but a couple of my favorites are pickled eggs with beets and pearl onions, and deviled eggs of any kind, but especially the ones I make with feta cheese, spinach, and bacon. I know that sounds like a weird combination, doesn't it? But don't judge, they'll blow your mind. Speaking of blowing your mind, that's what I plan to do today when I make these very simple yet very amazing smoked barbecue deviled eggs with bacon. That's right, whenever you want to knock something out of the park, you add bacon and you hit a home run every time. Now you can't make deviled eggs without boiling eggs first. So my method of boiling eggs to where they come out perfect every time is to put them in a pot of cold water, bring the water up to a boil, put the lid on the pot, turn the heat off, and let the eggs sit for 10 minutes. After sitting for 10 minutes, peel the eggs under cold water and then place them into the refrigerator. Now remember, these eggs are already cooked, so you don't want to cook them more and overcook them. The eggs will turn tough and rubbery. The only thing we want to do here is add smoked flavor. So turn the Traeger Pro 780 on, set the temperature to 180 degrees, and then hit the ignite button. That's all there is to it. Pretty simple. And I'm using hickory wood pellets for today's cook. Now close the lid and sit back and enjoy a nice frosty cold beverage while the Traeger comes up to temperature. Now once the Traeger's up to 180 degrees, it's time to add the eggs. So I just put them in a disposable aluminum pan to help keep the eggs looking nice and pretty, and to make them easier to take on and off the grill. Now close the lid and let them smoke for 30 to 45 minutes, depending on how much smoke flavor you want. After smoking for 45 minutes at 180 degrees, our eggs are ready. As you can see, the eggs still almost look white, which tells me they got a light coating of smoke. Just what I wanted. I did not expect them to be real dark, nor did I want them to be real dark. So from here, I put the eggs in a Ziploc bag and put them in the refrigerator overnight to mature, if you will. After maturing overnight in the refrigerator, I put Mrs. Wolf Pit to work. And you start off just like you would any deviled egg, by cutting the eggs in half. And then you separate the yolks and the whites. And then using a fork or your foot, mash up the yolks. Once the yolks are mashed up nice and pretty, it's time to add some mayonnaise. And please don't ask me how much mayonnaise, because we never measure it. Some people like to use a rule of thumb, 1 teaspoon of mayonnaise per egg. But for us, that's too much mayonnaise and the filling's too runny. We always start off with a little less than what we think we need, and then after we give it its first mix, we add a little bit more if it's too thick. After the mayonnaise, add some good old yellow mustard. And the same thing goes for the mustard. Add a little bit, and then add more later if you need to. And then add some relish, and you can add dill relish or sweet pickle relish. It all depends on what you like. You can also use some chow chow or pickled jalapenos. Change the recipe around however you like. Recipes are a guide, not a rule. Now we're going to add a little bit more barbecue flavor to go with the smoke flavor, with a little bit of the Traeger chili pepper garlic rub. If you don't have the Traeger rub, use any kind of rub you like. Now for a little more touch of barbecue, I'm going to add a little bit of Traeger's Texas Spicy Barbecue Sauce. If you don't have Traeger's Texas Spicy Barbecue Sauce, use one of your favorite barbecue sauces, or use hot sauce, or don't use any sauce at all. After all, you are the boss of your sauce. As you can see, I wasn't adding very much at all. I wanted all the additional barbecue flavors to be subtle along with the smoke flavor. I definitely didn't want one flavor overpowering all the others. Once everything's in the bowl that you want, give it all a good mix. Now we almost got the measurements right the first time around, but it's still just a little bit too thick for my liking. So I added about another teaspoon of mayonnaise, another little squirt of mustard, and a few more drops of barbecue sauce. Then we gave it another mix. and at this point the consistency and flavor were perfect. So now it's time to fill the eggs. And I know at this point most of you thinking I'm going to get out a Ziploc bag, fill it up, and cut the tip off, and then squeeze the filling inside the whites. But Mrs. Wolfpit is old school and can get the job done just as fast with 2 spoons. And she had all the eggs filled in no time. So now normally you garnish the eggs with a little bit of paprika, but today, since these are barbecue smoked deviled eggs, we're going to finish them off with just a little bit more of the Traeger rub. And finally, just because we can, and it makes everything better, each egg gets a little piece of bacon. And there you have it, smoked barbecue deviled eggs. With bacon, what more can you ask for? The very subtle, delicious smoky sweet heat mixed with the creaminess of the filling and the salty crunch from the bacon was amazing. And it took typical deviled eggs to a whole new level. Bring a platter of these to your next potluck, holiday dinner, etc., and they'll be gone lickety-split. If these look good to you, please give them a try and let me know what you think of them. Thank you all very much for watching. Please don't forget to like this video, subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with your family and friends, and I'll see you soon.